It's been a few days. Grandson stayed the night. He's sleeping in, which means I woke up middle of the damn night again. Stayed up for hours. Laid back down for an hour or two, only to get woken up by my wife. Get up. I was talking to a friend on the Discord this morning, and I had meant to do this the day before yesterday, go over the hex crawl wandering monster and wilderness encounters for Dragonslayer. A lot of us do the D6 X amount of times a day, right? And where Dragonslayer is really about getting in to the dungeon and then out of the dungeon and then back to town. This is a basic hex crawl mechanic, simplified, I guess, for your game. And 5 mile hexes, and I'm someone who grew up with Greyhawk, which had 60 mile hexes. Those were 60 mile hexes, which means each hex had sub-hexes of X amount of whatever hexes, whatever detail your DM wanted to go in. Now, I had one of those DMs that like to gloss over stuff, so he hand-waved travel a lot. I do like where your adventure zone is usually a small barony, a small duchy, or whatever, a small area that is unique to that region, which is the strength of hex crawling, right? That's the strength of a hex crawl system. You're going from different unique areas into another, so it's always fresh and new, blah, 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 via a lot of random shards, right? Not as fresh and exciting as you might think. Some people love it. They only want to hex crawl. They want to RP bushcraft 24/7. And you have fun. You have fun with that. So these 5 mile hexes, it's a simple die roll per hex. You enter said hex, you drop a die roll. 1 through 3 empty, 4, 5 random wilderness monsters, 6 random wilderness unique. And that means you got 2 subcharts. Your random wilderness monster, which there's a generic one, right, listed, that is first level dungeon. Your wilderness wandering monster tables 1 through 5 give you other charts if you want to do it, or as suggested in the manual, customize it. So you customize it by region. There's no reason for the region I'm in to have skeletons and zombies, so those are going to be replaced with the types of humanoids that are listed in the gazetter for that region, right? See where we're going here. You customize that down, and I'm looking at making it very generic, because the type of the probability of the type of creature in that area varies by the which mountain chain you're by. So one area has a lot of huge ravens, another area has hippogriffs, and another area has griffins, and these are hinted at in there to be options that you can obtain as flying mounts, which means they're also wandering monsters. They're in that area, but it doesn't mention the Briac, which is common throughout the whole area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it even more generic and fill it in on the fly as I go. So 1, 2 humanoid, 3 flying, 4 animal, giant animal of some sort, 5 organized humanoid band, and then 6 and 7 will be flying creature. That way I can glance at my map and see what they're closest to and automatically make that hippogriff, griffin, or other, or if I feel like it, substitute Briac anytime, which would be a 50-50 coin toss. I'm going to drop a D6, and 3 or less, it's a Briac. 4, 5, 6, it's going to be a Hippogriff or a Griffin or a huge Raven, depending on where you're standing. See? Simple. And it's a customized, generic, customized map based upon that barony or duchy or whatever, right? Or principality. And then 8, I'm going to make adventuring party or bandits. Not much different when you're out from the town, to be honest. You can view everyone else as a rival and an enemy and just line them up. And that works both ways, because you're fighting PCs then, and they get all the same powers and abilities you do as a player character. And the random wilderness unique can be any number of things. I like recent campsite, lets you know if there's other adventures in there, and if I have recent campsite, then I might change the humanoids on the other list, so they're more apt. So you can say, okay, 1, 2, 3, and 6, 7 will be some type of humanoid because they're in the area, right? Because you discovered a recent campsite. Therefore, you use that die roll as foreshadowing, right? Maybe reduce the chance to be surprised. Slain creatures, ruins, blah blah, recent graves. I do like the recent graves, and I will probably do that on my wilderness unique. And then this becomes a matter of scale. You can scale it down very easily based on what you're doing. This is old hexcrawl stuff, but I've seen a lot of hexcrawlers still like to use these multiple cascading charts, which takes a while. You can pre-roll a lot of it, or you roll it all random at the table. You roll it all random at the table, it takes longer. It just does. I've been there. And as a matter of scale, so if you go to a dungeon area that has a large hexcrawl area, you do it on the 300-foot square as opposed to the 5-mile hex outside. And that's not to say there's all kinds of stuff going on in that 5-mile hex. You're just not seeing it because it's 5 miles away. Right? I don't see encounter distance in this game, but I've been using it for outdoors. Because outdoors it makes a lot of sense. But right now they're on a salt flat. I really should triple those distances. I like it because it's a quick, simple die drop. I've also gone to using a D100 in the dungeon and not a D6 then roll again. I simply list out what I want, and I can do quite a bit, like 20 different encounters or whatever. I assign the probabilities up to anywhere from 11 to 20, and then 12 plus or 21 plus is no encounter. And at the upper end, I put if it depends on the nature of the area, I'll put like a weather event, and on here, oh yeah, under random wilderness, I treat 6s as weather events as well. Usually I just say it's a weather event. With the D100, you can put more stuff on there, so it's one drop instead of multiple rolls. It keeps the game flowing. I've noticed it's really sped up my Dark Citadel game, because that's how it was listed in there as D100. I'm like, that's different, and I just started using it, and I like it, so it works. It's very quick, very simple, one drop, done. I'm also back into the habit of keeping multiple index cards of encounters and stuff handy. That way I just flip them up, put them from a monitor to bottom, and then I can just rotate them out for what section of the dungeon or what area they're in. But yeah, this it's on page 281. It's a real quick and easy. I like it. And it goes over Lost in the Wilderness. Not much is really different there. I like to describe the area, and if they can describe how they're reorienting themselves, I just kind of hand wave it. If you know how not to get lost in the woods or whatever, it's easy to find your way back if you have a map, or if you're going to large geographical areas. If you're in untamed wilderness for miles and miles upon miles, it can be very easy to get lost. It's all about being prepared in the woods. All right. That's all really I got to say about that. I've always kind of like poo-pooed a lot of the hex crawl stuff. But with this simplified system, we've been having a lot more fun, and it let us test out some battle situations that normally probably wouldn't have been tested out as quickly as they were, with random encounters with a dozen orcs on a flat plane. So they really got to see how they were signing up their roles in their group because of bow cleave and dex to damage and to hidden damage, which was I thought was a little over the top, and that battle proved it. So one hit die monsters versus one hit die party members. It would not be unusual for your party to start dropping one or two around when they actually start hitting, stuff's gonna start dropping. It's interesting. But anyway, thought I'd go over that this morning. Some more Dragonslayer stuff. The party is digging it. They like some of the subtle differences versus other fantasy retro clones of that genre and that time period. So this is trucking along. And like most systems, what's not in there is stuff I have to make up anyway. So not anything different than what anyone else is forgetting to put in their damn games. It's a lot of general rulings that rhyme with what I've been doing for years anyway. It does lean toward a little bit more to the miniatures that I got away from, but the guys like it a lot, so doing it. Hex crawl with miniatures with hex crawl though, man, I'm not doing that. Nope. I played in a game where a guy had a big wilderness map and you had pawns, and so maybe that's where you're at. He had a different map where he's marking it, so we had ourselves on a map where we thought we were, and on his map we were lost. We were in a different location, but he kept moving that because you thought you were there, right? You thought you were in the right area. We can't find the dungeon here. It's not where he said it was, but we had gotten off path. So yeah, digging it so far. This will change real quick once the party gets flying mounts later on, if they do get flying mounts. That seems to be a priority, but no one's really doing the stuff you need to do. It's like, oh, we should do this, and then don't follow up. Players do that. They'll fly a trial balloon and watch for your reaction and see if you're one way. You got to have a poker face with some of these people, or they will derail on something they perceive as you saying, yeah, that's a great idea. So it's a great idea, so we're going to make it real easy? No, there's nothing easy. All right. Later.